creative friends, welcome to my channel, and in this video we're going to be talking about fermentation. Specifically, I'm going to make some sauerkraut. Now, I have dabbled in fermentation before, and I guess I would say I was maybe like 60% successful, and so I just kind of didn't do it for a while, but because of the nutritional benefits and stuff, I really want to try it and get back into it. So I think I'm starting easy with some sauerkraut. In fact, I'm going to get everything prepared, and I'm going to have Brian come in here and do the sauerkraut, which is cool. But I just wanted to go over a little bit of equipment. So a friend of mine in the Master Food Preserver program, I would say, I can't remember if she was officially my mentor when I took the course, but she acted as a mentor, and she was a huge into fermentation. Her name was Peggy, and she had like a room at her house, I think it was her utility room or laundry room, that was completely converted to a fermentation room. She had huge kimchi pots, she had tons of little crocks and big crocks, and she had something going all the time. And she actually, when I told her I wanted to learn to ferment, she gave me one of these amazing little water crocks as a gift. I was so excited about it, but unfortunately very shortly thereafter she passed away, and she never got to show me how to do anything in this. And actually, I don't think I've ever even used this because of that. Just kind of sat there as like a little thing, but I'm going to use it. So this is a water crock, or this one is actually called a Kinley fermentation crock. And the thing with these are, they have kind of a little moat around there, and what happens is you put your your things that you're fermenting inside, you put water on there, and this lid sits down on there, and there's a little tiny divot here where the gases, as they're created through the fermentation, will pop out of that little hole, but the water keeps it locked, basically, so that no air or bacteria can get into it. The hardest thing for me is, on the instructions for this, it says don't look at it for 2 weeks. I actually contacted my friend over there at the Fermented Homestead and said, why? And she said, because when you do this, it lets in the air and the bacteria, and we don't want that. So because I can't see in this one, and I want to see what's going on, I've got some jars that I'm going to use. So I've just got a couple quart jars, and the way that you seal those, well, there's 3 things actually. Let me just go over these pieces of equipment. So there's one thing that's called a pickle pipe. Now, all of the things I'm showing you, I have linked down in my Amazon affiliate, so you can go down there and you can get these, and so it'd be pretty easy to get the equipment that you need. But there's a thing called a pickle pipe, and what this is, I'm trying not to touch a lot of things because these are all washed and super clean and ready to go. But this sits on top of the jar, and the ring goes on, and then if you remember the old Playtex baby bottle nipples, it reminds me of that. It's got a little slit right there, and as the gases come up, they're just released through there. To me, if you really don't want any air and bacteria to get in there, because this can be squeezed, I think that air could get in there, so that would be my last choice as far as when I'm using jars, okay? The other thing, these are called airlocks. And there's 2 different styles. I have one of each style. And what they are is basically they create the same thing here. Like here, I'll take this apart and show you. Inside of here, there's a little doodad. You fill this up with water, and that thing slips down there, and the water is over it. So then as the gases are released, they kind of push this up, and they're released, and they bubble out. So there's that one. And I'm going to put distilled water in these when I use them. And I'm going to use one of each. This one, same kind of thing. You fill the water to this little max line, which is right there. You fill the water, and as the air comes up, it forces its way, and it'll go bloop, and you'll see the bubbles come up. Those will go onto a plastic lid with a little grommet, and most of the time, sometimes like these came with like a cork to put them in a bottle, but I just pull that off so that I can stick it in there. Okay, so those are the ones I'm going to use with the 2 quart jars. Are the 2 airlocks that use these types of lids. I will save this for another time just because I don't think I'm going to have that much to ferment. So the other thing that you should have is and these are also actually the ones I put in my Amazon store are better. It's not a store, it's an affiliate place. Are better because they have like a handle on them. These don't have a handle. But these come in a little box like this, and there's 4 of them. And what they do is they're glass discs, and so when you put, say, your cabbage in there, you put these down on there and it weights it down so it's below the liquid. These are the weights that came with the little crock. Those go in there and they hold the cabbage down. And so you need that. So you need a container, a way for the gases to be removed, a way to keep things pushed down underneath the brine level. And if you don't have any of these weights, one thing you can do is just take a plastic bag with brine in it and put it in there, and it'll kind of weigh it down so that you can do that. Super simple stuff. And then the other thing, I actually have a mallet that is for fermenting. You can use a potato masher. You can use your fist to push things down in your jar. You can use pretty much anything like that. But I actually have one of these. And references. So I have a couple of good books, and I've been kind of reading those to get an idea of things I want to do. The Real Food Fermentation, that's a good book. And Fermented Vegetables. We actually, I think we sell this one at our extension office, which is cool. But what I'm going to link for you is at our food preserver booth at the county fair, we actually had a big half a gallon of sauerkraut going, and the handouts that we had right next to it, this one for the small batch sauerkraut tips, I will put a link in the description so that you can get this, and I will go buy this one for this video. And then the other thing is cabbage, and I got 2 nice big heads of cabbage. I'm not sure how much they weigh, but once I take the outside leaves off and cut the core out, I'll weigh them, because that will tell me how much salt to use. And the salt you should use is pickling salt. Pickling salt doesn't have any extra chemicals or any of that stuff in there. So that's all you need. A container, something to ferment, something to hold it down underneath the brine, and a way for the gases to release. Pretty simple stuff. There is another thing that years and years ago, when I very first tried fermenting, a subscriber contacted me, and they had this little thing, which is kind of like a little band, a little heating band, and I will put the link to this in my description as well. But what that does is supposed to wrap around a kombucha pot and keep it the right temperature. But I'm kind of going to weave it in through my my jars that I have here, because it'll keep it at about 70 or 75 degrees. And that's good, because I feel guilty telling you guys this, but where I live on the Oregon coast, we don't really ever get 75-degree weather. We don't even have air conditioners, because we don't get hot enough for that. So I want to make sure that I've got a good warm temperature for those. And quite frankly, I think that in my last attempts for fermenting, that may have been the problem, because I was doing it during winter, and we heated with a wood stove, so during the day it would get real cool in here when we were at work, and I think that that had a lot to do with it. So let me get my cabbage cut up, and what I'm going to do with that is peel the outside leaves off, cut the core out, and then we'll shred it. So I'll show you where we're at on that, and then once we're all done, we'll get Brian in here to make some sauerkraut. Brian's putting his gloves on, and he is ready to start making some sauerkraut. I'm so excited about this, my dear. So here's the deal. I measured the sauerkraut after I shredded it all, and I actually have 5 pounds here. It wouldn't all fit in this bowl, so I have some in this bowl. So as he mashes this down, we'll add a little bit more. But for the instructions that will be linked below, it says 5 pounds of cabbage and 3 tablespoons of pickling salt, which I already have separated out here. That's my canning salt jar. It's pickling salt. Anyway, so I've got all that shredded, and now it says to, with clean hands or wear disposable gloves, mix thoroughly, mix the salt into the cabbage. You will notice the cabbage will begin to wilt as the salt is mixed in. So when all the salt is dissolved and the cabbage is juicy is when we're going to begin packing it in the jars. And I'm going to use 2 quart jars, and good thing that salt goes in there. And I'm going to use that crock that Katie gave me a long, long time ago, remember?
Yeah.
I loved Katie. She had all kinds of crock. Remember that room she had? It was like...
Full of crock pots.
It was full of it. It was. She must have had 40 things going in there at any given time. All right, so this is going to take up to about 10 minutes. So I am going to let these slowly work its way down. Work the salt into the cabbage, release all of its juices, wilt down a bit. I'll add that other, and we'll come back to you when we're at a place where we're getting close to putting it in the jars. He's still working on it. There's some of these ones that he's coming across are like tough pieces that are kind of around the core maybe. So he's pulling them out as he's needing. But boy, you can see, you can pick some of that up and squeeze it and show how much juice is coming out. Like you can see, look at the juice coming out of there. So I'm going to add some more of this in and let him keep working that through. And this, I don't know, it'll take about 10 minutes, I guess. And so once this is completely done, we will bring you back as soon as we're ready to put it in the containers. So we're ready to pack the little crock now. So I'm going to take the little lid off, and you're going to put it in there, and then you'll smash it with this mallet so that it needs to have the brine completely cover the cabbage. So you're going to put it. There you go. And then we'll wipe this out, and water goes in there to make it an airlock around the outside. I think you could put some of that juice. You could tip some of that juice in there too. You want a little thing? A little cup? To get
Sorry about being so messy. But, you know, I'm a guy.
Yeah, but you're good. There's a lot of... Oh. I love... Oh, my goodness.
That didn't work.
I love working in the kitchen with you, dear.
Yeah.
Here, why don't we do this? Let's get that back off there. Okay. Let me get some sort of a thing that you can... Here you go. Scoop out some of that brine and put it in there. Perfect. I think you're doing a wonderful job. Now, see, you'll have a vested interest in making sure this tastes good. Now use this mallet and kind of start smashing it so you make sure that there's liquid. It's underneath the liquid. Here, I'll show everybody what's happening down in there. See? Ooh. Looking good. All right, you have to keep adding some more. So we're just going to keep adding this, and we'll bring you back when there's enough in there and it's smashed down so that there's liquid to cover the cabbage. So Brian did enough of the cabbage to fill my little crock, and this is like a half-gallon crock. So I still have some more cabbage, and I do want to have that clear jar, that quart jar done, so that I can watch what's happening, because you can't open this for 2 weeks. So I want to show you what it looks like inside. And now you got to take these little things and lay them in there, and it's going to press.
Lay them in where?
Lay them on top of the cabbage, just inside. Yep. If you don't have these weights, you can use a cabbage leaf and go over your cabbage and then put a Ziploc bag with the brine in there, and there's recipes to show you the brine. So push that one down. There you go. Okay, perfect. See how that is? Now, if you're a super fermenter, in the trough, not in there. So we're using distilled water just because I think it's better. And you're going to fill that up enough. That's good. And now, there we have the water, and now this is going to go in and see those little divots? They're going to let the gases out. See how it's... Now, that water has sealed kind of where that lid is, and now the gases will come out of those little holes. Now I'm going to set this up here, and we're going to keep an eye on it, and I will come back when I'm done doing the rest of the cabbage, and we'll fill those quart jars. Nice work. So this cabbage is ready to go, and Brian is going to put it in the quart jar. I got him a funnel, you guys, and so
because I'm a little messy.
A little messy. And then we're going to use this airlock because I like this one better, because I can watch the bubble go bloop, and I think that's fun. All right, load it into that jar, and then you use the mallet and smash it until there's liquid above it. And you need to leave, you know, some good space at the top of the jar. Might have enough to do both jars. Excitement never ends around here. We have a guest watching us. Yeah, smash it. All right, so we're going to go through getting this. Oh, it might take the whole bowl in there. But I wanted to have this because I can't see it for 2 weeks, so I can't look in that brown jar. So I needed to have something because I need to watch the process just because it's fun. Yeah, we might have enough for 2 jars. All right, so we'll let Brian finish getting this jar full, and maybe the next one, and then we'll come back to you and show the airlocks. So what we ended up with these 2 quarts, they're not like full, and I don't think that makes a difference because it's not like a canning headspace issue. But now Brian's going to put the glass weights to hold down that cabbage. Whoop. Okay. Oops. Oops. Oh my gosh, I love having you in here. Okay, perfect. Yay. That looks good. We both jump back. It didn't work. All right, so these are available in my little Amazon affiliate link. A person to put them in is your responsibility.
Sorry.
Sorry, we'll get it.
It just shows that, you know, you don't have to be...
You don't have to be a professional. But that, you know what? It's...
That's me, not me, that's for sure.
All right, that's good. You know what?
No.
Pull it out and then just kind of slide it into this. Ooh, that looks good. Perfect. All right, that's good. Now we're going to put the distilled water in these 2 airlocks. Let me get the cabbage off there. And I just want to watch this. Now today, you're not going to see this today, but today is the 1st of August, so these should go for 2 weeks. And we'll watch the progress. I'll do some check-ins. And that's one of the reasons why I wanted to have some in glass jars, is so that I could do some check-ins on them, since we can't see the stuff that's in my cool crock that Katie gave me. Pop that top off. Here, I got it. You got gloves on. There you go. So you're going to fill it to like right there. And then as the gases come out, they're going to go bloop. Perfect. Oh, let me dump some of that out. Pink. That's good. All right. Sweeto mosquito. Now, in this one, okay, this one has actually a line that says max. You see that line right there? And we're going to, and as these ferment, the little gases are going to bubble up. It's going to be very cool. Hang on, let me get that off. There we go. Careful, careful. I don't have my glasses on, so we're guessing at this, dear. Whew. No more. We need more.
Well, it's not
oh,
going
yeah.
down.
Hang on. Wonder if I have to take it out for that. Here. Let me take it off of this. There we go. Ooh, perfect. All right, I had to release some of the air. So see that suction? So that is going to keep the inside of these jars completely anaerobic. So there's not going to be any air or bacteria in this. Okay, so let's take a look. See how pretty green they are? Those are going to be fantastic. Okay, so we're going to check it. Today's the 1st. We'll check it on the 4th. Every 3rd. Well, yeah, we'll check it. We'll let 3 days go. So we'll check it on the 4th and then like the 7th. All right. So there you have it. Our very first moment of making cabbage and beginning our journey in successful fermenting. As always, thanks for watching, and we'll see you in our next video.